What if I told you that the real reason that you're not making the changes that you want to make in your life has nothing to do with your discipline? It has nothing to do with how much time you have, and has nothing to do with how much you want it. What it has to do with is a little chemical in your brain known as dopamine, which drives your motivation during tasks. Today, I'm going to show you how to hijack your brain's reward system so that you can utilize this dopamine to make the changes that you've been meaning to make or that you've been failing to make in your life. Everyone's been sold this idea that you just have to dream big and want it bad enough and work harder to get the results you want to see. The problem is, the brain's not wired that way, and your motivation will not last. You need to learn how to utilize dopamine and how to create small wins to get long-term results. Dopamine, the chemical that actually drives your motivation, peaks during the pursuit of something, not at achievement. However, this peak will not last for months and years and decades. Dopamine is driven by novelty and momentum, which means your brain needs to see that you are making progress towards your results. And since your brain rewards the chase and not the finish line, you need to continually give it things to chase to make sure that you keep the novelty and keep the dopamine spikes that are going to keep you motivated and on track to accomplishing your goals. Without setting up these small wins, every time you create a new goal, your brain learns that you're going to fail because the dopamine will spike. You will eventually lose motivation. You will quit this overall big picture goal that you had, which will create failure, which will reiterate in your brain that you don't want to accomplish big things because all that results every time you start is failure. You need to teach your brain that when you start a new task, it can anticipate the reward of accomplishing that task. It can anticipate that after you get the dopamine spike from the pursuit, there will be a small reward at the end, and then you will create a new pursuit. And by stringing those small pursuits together or those incremental changes, we can make big changes in our lives. So the formula isn't go big or go home. The formula is go small and keep going small so that you can continue to receive those dopamine spikes, so that you can continue with your motivation, so that your brain continually is rewarded for all of the successes on the way to your bigger goals. Jordan Peterson has a great line about this. He says in one of his podcasts with Joe Rogan that there are changes that you could make in your life, but you won't aim low enough. And basically what he's saying is there is something that you could do every day, say 5 push-ups or not eating sugar 2 days a week. But you could make small tweaks in your daily activities that would result in big changes over time. The key is anchoring those to things that you already do and to make sure that your brain is being rewarded for accomplishing the goals. Motivation is emotional. It's unpredictable. You don't have motivation after you've had a long weekend or when you're tired or after a long day at the office. Motivation isn't what you need. What you need is what I like to call minimum viable success. What that means is you need to have something very small and incremental that you can anchor to your everyday activities that will create a win for your brain. You need to create another win tomorrow and another win the next day and a bigger win for the week. And by stringing those wins together, we can train our brains to make these big picture changes that we all want to make in our lives to make our lives better. What does it mean when I say minimum viable changes? It means 5 push-ups when I wake up, 1 journal entry with my morning cup of coffee. Or when I get home from work, I do 10 jumping jacks as soon as I take my shoes off. What it really boils down to is small wins that I can anchor to things that I already do. This is the minimum viable success strategy. And this is how you string together wins to make long term changes in your life. This is exactly what I've been trying to build for my coaching clients. I want to give them minimum viable success targets that they can anchor to their already hectic daily routine. No fluff, no guilt, just progress day after day. So, if you haven't been able to make the changes that you want to make in your life and you know what they mean to you, then shoot me a direct message, leave me a comment, schedule a coaching call. Let me sit down with you. Let's work a success strategy so that you can make the changes that you want to make in your life so that you can be living the life that you've always dreamed of. That's how you were built for more.